Okay, so I figured I got a test video out of the way, and I didn't like it, and I rambled too much because I do that. So I deleted it because why not? And I love how blah, blah, low storage space I can talk. I'm having a chakra moment. I blame it on Gemini, except for the moon was in Gemini yesterday. So I apologize. I smoke. And yes, it's a cigarette. It's a rolled cigarette. It has a filter. There's a lot of people that assume, oh my God, are you smoking a joint? It's like, no, it's a cigarette. Europe. Hello. As you can see, I have personality. Not always something that everyone appreciates. Tough titties. But I figured I'd show some of that personality today because I actually feel awake at the moment. I'm probably gonna go into a manic phase soon on account of the fact that I think I've had less than 30 minutes of deep sleep. I got more actual sleep, which is cool. More hours, yeah. But lots of dream time, so very, very active, feeling like I'm awake. And there's a puppy. Can I help you, puppy? Do you want in my lap? You want in my lap? Okay. Yes. This is Bruce. The reason he's in my lap and he's very clingy today is because the big sky dog has decided to go bork bork. And he's very scared of the sky dog. Fireworks? Your dog's barking in a video? Nah. Maybe your cats. He might get a little concerned about your cats. But the thunder? Oh my God, the thunder! Ah! And so he has to be all over me, which is horrible because I can't deal with the heat and he can't deal with the heat. But this is Bruce. He's a good puppy. He's actually my son's dog. So, yeah, I'm actually feeling lucid at the moment. I feel like I'm actually awake and alive. Whereas I spent like, a good 2/3 of the day feeling like I was drugged out and couldn't function, and my pupils were actually quite dilated, which is kind of impressive. But it's mainly because we've got the storms going everywhere around me because I'm in a microclimate within a microclimate. And so it like tells stories and it rumbles and it threatens of thunder and magic and woo. And thankfully it's cooled the air down a little bit, but the pressure, oh God. It was at 10:11, now it's at 10:10. I feel it. I feel it in my brain, not fingers, not in my toes either. But yeah, so that's not helping. And then also it's moving around all of the pollen and making it go everywhere. And I already have high histamine counts naturally. I'm like allergic to myself, maybe. Yay, autoimmune disorders. Aren't they fun? And so, so yeah, it's much more enjoyable when you people give me information to talk and we exchange, because then I have something to talk about and then I'm not like scattered all over the place. Sorry. But anyway, yeah, so I naturally have a high histamine count. So when it's inflamed even more, it's like being a zombie. And it's just like, what? No thinking? No, no thinking. We do not do the thinking. No, 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 no. Thinking, no. Functioning, no. But right now I'm actually lucid. I'm clear. A little stuffed up in the nose, but hey, I'm not sponsored, but peppermint oil. Oh, there we go. Yeah, I'm a bit of a masochist, so I just shoved that right up my nose. And let me tell you, it's intense. But it works, and I can breathe. And it also helps get rid of the migraines. And at the moment, I have a little bit of peppermint oil on my head and on my shoulders, and I'm keeping it as much away from Bruce as possible, even though he wants to be all over me. But it's helping to keep the flies away because we have windows. We do not have window screens. There are many fingers that should be lifted at this very moment towards the window, but I'm behaving. Barely. So yeah, I have a bit of a personality. I don't get to share that very often. I don't have a reason to. I don't have people that want to talk to me. And the people that do want to talk to me, they don't know me anymore, if they ever did. So I'm not getting the mental stimulation I need. not getting the fun that I need. And I need the fun. I need to play. I need reasons to laugh and to use my brain in ways that aren't creatively swearing at people without actually swearing. Like earlier today, I kind of told somebody to not shove their information, not shove their assumptions and what was the other word? Oh, I forget. But something else up my bum, like, they're desperately searching for the last golden ticket in the Charlie and Chocolate Factory. Or my favorite one, instead of saying, I don't give a rat's, what, I don't give a geriatric diuretic rat's bum squirter. Gotta be creative, right? Especially, for all those people out there that are worried about demonetization. I don't care. Because I'm not. Like, I'm not a tarot reader. I'm not an astrologer. I'm not a therapy guru. I'm not any of those things. I'm just me. And I got a puppy who's clingy. And I got a cigarette. And I got a mug of coffee. And that's about it. So I don't really care about demonetization. So I can swear my head off. But I choose not to. Because I'm being polite. It's really hard being a pirate wench when you're polite. Not as much fun. But I need people to play with. I need people to have fun with. And so when I actually do find people that can stimulate my brain, because being a stroke survivor, okay, no two strokes are the same. And so how it affects you, some it'll droop the face, others it'll stop body movements, some it will cause, aphasia, or in my case, bilingual aphasia. Right now I'm lucid, so I can function. I'm calm. No cptsd showing at the moment. Bit of sarcasm and snark. Snark, 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 snarf. I got the puppy. He's too young for snarf. But yeah, so no two strokes are the same. How they affect the brain, how they make changes. I've got a lot of undiagnosed learning disabilities because of the damage, and because of the fact that I'm trying to heal myself all alone, even though I have access to medical help. But because of all the trauma that I've been through with the medical help. I mean, like, I was in the middle of the stroke, right? Okay? And I can barely talk. I can barely walk. I'm like walking almost like a zombie, like a really bad acting zombie. And like my head is on fire. I was to the point, and it's cold outside because it was like January, maybe February. I don't know, but it's cold outside, and I'm roasting on fire. And all I can think about is like either I get this young nurse dude to do something, or I'm just going to go out into like right out front where they park the ambulance, and I'm going to just strip down and lay on the sidewalk because I was that hot. And the young dude, he looks at me, and I can barely speak in general, let alone in any language. And I can kind of understand, but communicating is difficult. And so he's got this disgust on his face. It's like, oh my God, another, Anglophone person that just doesn't have the cojones to, or the interest to learn the language. And it's like, huh? I'm in the middle of a stroke. My brain's going, I can't speak the language. So I'm having, all kinds of trauma associated with the hospital specifically, which I can't sue them for because didn't have help doing that. All kinds of other things in the way. Anyway, and so any of the medical help outside of that, similar issues, they're not interested. They don't want to hear it. They don't want to see me. They want to project their assumptions and their ideas on what I should be and conforming and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, nah. So I stopped going. And I've had medical gaslighting since I was 12 years old due to my autoimmune disorders, because that's when they first started showing up. And so I'm used to medical gaslighting in 2 countries now, from doctors from all over the world, because there's doctors from all over the world in America. And so the fact that I'm having to heal myself by myself, having to look up all kinds of articles on the internet about what the brain does, how it functions. I mean, there's some really cool stuff out there. It's really neat, especially the newer stuff that they're discovering. So I devour that. and I find it fascinating. And then also diving into the more psychological, philosophical, and metaphysical side, trying to tap into the subconscious, trying to figure out what is the higher self, how to tap into that, getting back into stuff that I used to study back in the 90s by Edgar Cayce, in terms of you've got the subconscious, you've got the self, the consciousness, and then you've got the higher self, but then you've also got the collective consciousness where we all kind of tap into, and that was actually quite fascinating. So getting back into that, learning all kinds of different ways to think, but having to do it in a structured environment that's French is kind of complicated. Because, see, the French, they have a subject. They do. They have a subject. And they're going to communicate that subject. And it's going to be communicated beautifully. I mean, you can be a poet and not even know it, because all of the things just kind of like flow and rhyme, and it's so pretty. And when people don't articulate and enunciate very properly, and then they have a really good voice at the same time, it's such pretty music. Can't understand a word they're saying, but it's pretty. The biggest problem, though, is the fact that they take that subject and then they dance around it. Maybe they touch it just a little bit. And I'm going, I have no idea what just said. So I'm trying to figure out, okay, how do I relearn the language? Et quand je parle français, c'est pas comme je suis banal, c'est pas comme je suis nul. Mon accent, c'est bien. Le problème, c'est que je manque les mots et la conjugation. I mean, there's like entire sections of French that I don't have access to. Tons of it. And since I don't have anyone to interact with, it doesn't help. So when I speak French, I use English structure with French words. So it's not correct. Okay. But when I'm trying to function in English and I'm trying to heal my brain, I've got the English structure, but I'm dancing around the subject and I can't even touch it. Oh, I can do a high five. Ooh. That's to you, Alex. So, you have no idea how much I can't do high fives. Do not try. I'm just like, coordination. No, don't dance either. So, and I swear I'm sober. I'm just like, this is what it's like. And yeah, I'm going to definitely go manic on sleep debt. Not enough sleep. Only through 30 minutes of, that's just not enough deep sleep. And it was spread out over 2 sleep cycles too, because there was cats. Lots of cats. They were annoying cats. So it's not easy for me to function. It's not easy for me to focus. Summaries? No. Analogies? Yeah, I can do analogies. What's that other word? There's another word. Brain fog? Yeah, I can do brain fog. Real easy. So trying to function in English is not easy, because I'm trying to function in French at the same time, even though I know it's my language, it's English. I should be able to do it. Should be able to do it. No problem. But I can't summarize. I can't condense. I don't do short stories, and I can't focus. So I'm all over the place without someone putting boundaries. It's kind of like, you want to go swimming in the pool. In a little baby pool, right? You just want to sit in a little tiny baby pool, and you want to have like, little thingies in the water with you, maybe like little duckies and stuff like that, and bubbles, and you just want to be outside, like acting like a little kid, a little thing. And here I am going, Niagara Falls. I need some boundaries. I need some parameters. Without that, I'm just like, oh God. Now I got the Norwegian dude in my head. I love that dude. He's hilarious. I hope he never stops making videos, or at least not while I need them, because he's just hilariously adorable. It helps. Humor helps. So if I don't have people to engage with, I'm having to find stimulation on my own, which limits me and limits my social interaction, which leaves me stuck. And I need that stimulation. So it's really difficult when I find new people, because if I find new people and they have the potential to give me the kind of engagement that I want, because they're smart and they're funny and they have like information that I could use, that I know enough about that I could follow along and we could have good conversations, and then I can intercede my own information and we could have an exchange of conversations and ideas and new ways of thinking about things. Because so many people, especially the spiritual community, right? I live it. Most people are passing out the memes. They're sharing the pretty things. They're telling people, this is what you need to do. I'm paying a lot of money to go to these classes and these retreats because that's what you need to do to find yourself. And you got to do this and that and the other. Yeah, it's like, no, I live that shit. I live it. And so when I find people that I can potentially get along with, they can potentially give me the mental stimulation I crave. It's like being a hyper happy bouncy puppy. And it's like, oh my God, I'm so excited and I don't know how to shut up. And I don't know how to turn it down. Because I don't get enough stimulation. And I don't know how to interact anymore because I am so horribly isolated. The most stimulating conversations I have are with the dog, with the insects that come and say hello. Like I had a really big grasshopper earlier, and then the day before I had a different one, and I was having conversations with it because it wouldn't get off my hands. It just would not get off my hands. It said it liked me. Or I have good conversations with my kids. And with my 21-year-old, it's mainly him ranting about something, because he's really good at ranting. With my 16-year-old, it's either video games or him ranting about something he saw in society. He's just so disappointed in society, ranting about our situation. Or it's some sort of philosophical stuff that ends up taking 2 hours, and my brain is just like, okay, I've maxed out. I'm good. So I need people to talk with. I need reintegration into society because I can't talk with my neighbors. I can't talk with the people down the street. Plus, I live in the country, so it's like redneck French Farmville, pretty much, basically. I'm sure that there are lovely people here. I can't meet them, and too many of them are like frat boys, and I just go, ew. And I'm sure there's lovely frat boys out there. I'm sure. I've heard about them. But yeah, so I'm bored. I'm bored to a level that most people never, ever experience. And to a depth that forces me to go inside and do introspection and live most of what the spiritual books and the self-help books talk about. And most other people are doing it on a superficial level, and some do it on a deeper superficial level. But it's like this one lady, I like her, and she says, you can only meet others as deeply as you've met yourself. And I'm like, okay, so why don't I have a deep diving driver's license for like those submarine machines? Because I dive deep. I got nothing else to do. I got nothing but intrusive thoughts and trying to figure out how to get out of my situation, and there's no real fun. So I'm bored. So I guess that's who I am at the moment. Overstimulated, over hyper, over happy, hyper puppy. When I get new people that can possibly fill a gap that society has left. Because society is seriously lacking at the moment. And it's lonely. You know? I know so many people out there. I mean, I had several thousand followers, depending on whether it was my blog or it was Twitter or it was Facebook at one point. You know, I've had so many followers, but few engagements. And it's that engagement that I need. It helps heal my brain. And the more I heal my brain, the more it heals the self-worth, the believing in myself, remembering who I used to be, so that I can get through this, so I can be strong enough. The more I have to do it alone, it's just too big, it's too much. So yeah, that's a little bit about who I am. Now I gotta play this back and figure out what it is I actually need to say. But this kind of gives a clue as to who I am and why I am. Thanks for listening.